Jeff Bezos is making a techno-space-dystopia. Welcome to Truth Duel Official. In this video, you'll learn about Jeff Bezos' dream for a galactic empire and his not-so-stellar dystopia back on Earth. You'll want to stick around till the end of this video to learn how to avoid a loveless marriage bed with a billionaire. But first, I am your host, Misinformation. If you like this channel, make sure to subscribe to receive more great technology news, misinformation analysis, and other sentiments and ramblings that please and amuse us. And become a truth dueler, because only you can slay misinformation at its source. Get our app on truthduel.com. Close your eyes for a minute and imagine what humanity's future in space looks like. Do you see big rotating cylinders like floating shake weights? Do these floating shake weights have weather like Maui all day, every day? Maybe there's an amusement park without any gravity, where people attach paper feathers to their arms and pretend to be birds. You already know there would be overachievers in the group, doing mating dances and feeding their kids worms. If this sounds more like a nightmare than a utopia, then welcome to Jeff Bezos' vision for the future. So you ask Mr. Bezos, but Jeff, how are we going to get to space? He laughs in your face with that evil billionaire laugh. Then he says, "There is no we, only the rich get to go." And he turns to your millionaire friend, Kevin, who's a trust fund kid and loves the Wolf of Wall Street. Jeff tells Kevin he gets to go to space in none other than a giant penis rocket. Or does it look more like a Hitachi vibrator? Tell us in the comments below what phallic object you think inspired Jeff's engineers. As Kevin floats around in space, he thinks to himself, now what? Luckily for him, Jeff has the perfect place to visit. It's called Orbital Reef, and it's Blue Origin's luxury business retreat in the stars. If Kevin wants to freshen up a bit, he can visit the space hotel, or if he wants to try his hand at filmmaking, there's a microgravity room just for that. Bezos announced Orbital Reef as a replacement for the International Space Station, and he's spending $1 billion a year to launch it by the end of the decade. But there's stiff competition for NASA's contracts, with other private companies such as Lockheed Martin and SpaceX trying to steal Jeff's limelight. Speaking of SpaceX, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos have some space billionaire beef with each other. While us plebeians down on Earth are arguing about minimum wage, healthcare, and climate change, Musk and Bezos are focused on much loftier goals, such as how should humans live in space? Elon wants to terraform Mars until it has a climate like Earth, something he believes nuking Mars can achieve. Yes, that's right. Drop a bunch of nuclear bombs on Mars until it magically becomes Earth. NASA has publicly discredited this idea, but that hasn't stopped Musk. Curious about what Elon is up to these days? Check out our video, 10 Reasons Elon Musk Has a God Complex. Jeff thinks he has a better idea. He wants people to live in large rotating space cylinders that mimic Earth's gravity. Sure, living in a floating washing machine sounds cozy to me, Jeff. Some of these cylinders will mimic Earth's architecture, like Disney's Epcot, and some will showcase futuristic buildings, also like Disney's Epcot. Bezos says there won't be any earthquakes on his cylinders and no rain. No rain? How are we supposed to reenact that scene from The Notebook? There may not be any rain on Bezos' space cylinders, but I also hope there's no war, or even worse, Mormons. The Mormons probably have their own warship ready to release Joseph Smith and battle against Jeff Bezos. Don't know who Joseph Smith is? Learn all about him in Why Joseph Smith is Cooler Than Your Man. Enough about all this space talk. Let's check up on Amazon down here on Earth. It's not looking too good. You don't need to look among the stars to find a tech dystopia. Factory workers across the globe are subject to Amazon's robotic surveillance state. From the moment they clock in until they clock out, Amazon workers are being watched by the cute little guys from WALL-E. For example, an app hires and fires Amazon's delivery drivers. The only problem is that this app is just as buggy as every other app out there. The app blames faulty delivery instructions and traffic errors on the drivers, who are then fired by a robot before they even speak to another human. Amazon workers aren't only being monitored by robots, they're being treated like robots too. Amazon routinely has higher rates of injury than its competitors, such as Walmart, often due to the stressful pace it places on its factory workers. One employee said that, quote, "We were expected to always pick 400 units within the hour in 7 seconds of each item we picked." End quote. Do these terrible working conditions remind you of someone else? Perhaps another Silicon Valley giant with suicide nets around his iPhone factories? If you want to learn more about totalitarian CEOs and terrible working conditions, check out Why Tim Cook is a Totalitarian Tool. But it doesn't stop with factory workers. Bezos' plan for world domination extends to lobbies and even our own privacy. We all know billionaires hate paying taxes, which is why Jeff is willing to pay millions to lobby against taxes. Instead of that money going towards building a better Earth, he'd rather the Earth go to shit while he pays for fun space time in his fun space dildo. And what was that lobbying doing exactly? It was opposing a bill that called for taxes on space tourism. If you thought that was slimy, keep watching to learn about the even more sinister lobby our Truth Duel investigative reporters have dug up. Across 25 states in the United States, Amazon lobbied against over 36 bills that protect customer privacy. A lot of this data Amazon collects is biometric in nature. That means they're collecting your facial profile, health data from fitness trackers, even recordings of your voice. It was all a part of Amazon's Watering the Flowers project to cultivate a well-tended garden of policymakers. Amazon has launched over 1,000 Watering the Flowers projects, according to an internal document, which included an app that, quote, enabled them to look up the number of Amazon employees in a given politician's electoral district, end quote. Unfortunately for Jeff, he spent too much time tending to his policymakers that he forgot to tend to his wife. Now he's losing $38 billion in the divorce settlement, a high price to pay for a dry marriage bed. Don't worry, Jeff, you're not the only rich guy with a loveless life. Grimes broke up with Elon, and is there something Bill Gates is hiding? Watch what Bill Gates doesn't want you to know about his divorce. Misinformation wishes you well and says to watch out for those bad boy billionaires. P.S. Is Zuckersplat missing from this video? Until next time, make sure to praise and validate us by liking our video, subscribing to our channel, and becoming a truth dueler, or you'll never ride the dildo rocket.